Morning, everyone. Like to call the November meeting of the Redevelopment Commission to order. Meeting minutes, we have 2 months, September and October, I believe. Where is it? To approve today. For the September meeting on the 16th, has everyone had anyone had a chance to review these?
Yes.
Okay. If someone's willing, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown, and Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. And then the October 14th minutes.
Second.
Is that a motion?
Motion approved. Yeah. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown, and Mr. Jordan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next in your packet is the monthly transaction or monthly financial report for October. You'll see monthly transactions, account balances, and fund balances. I'm happy to answer any questions on that report.
Anyone have questions? Okay.
All right. Next item is the quarterly report. So this is third quarter, July 1st through September 30th. Shows the adopted budget and then expenditures by account to date. Again, I'm happy to answer any questions on these reports as well.
Will we be getting any more money for tax assessments and stuff later?
So we will, but we've already appropriated that money. But in December, we get the settlement from the fall taxes.
Okay. But that's already included.
No, it's not included in fund balances. It's included in account balances. So in January, or when you pass the budget for the year, it includes the January or the spring and fall payments, the ones we get in June, and then the ones we get in December.
I understand. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Fotia.
Thank you. Next item is resolution 2025-14 regarding various fiscal matters. So this is appropriating the monies from Amazon.
As we do every month.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-14? So moved. There a second?
Aye. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Next item on your agenda, this is the second time a spending plan has come before you. This was due to a change in the state law. So on top of the appropriations bill, which I'll bring you next month, we do have to pass a spending plan, which gets filed with the state. It can be amended if that changes, but it just mentions all of our outstanding debt payments as well as what we plan to do with TIF revenues next year.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item, next item in your packet is the 2026 calendar of meetings. This would start with the January 13th meeting and go through December 8th for next year. These will be held on the second Tuesday of each month, like we're doing now in this room, and will be noticed separately if it's not in this room or on this date or at this time. So if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them, but would ask for your approval so we could post it and get these set.
And again, Mr. Garrett, we no longer have to have the first meeting, the first few days of January, correct?
That's correct. There's no organizational meeting date for RDC.
Is there a motion to approve the proposed calendar? So move. Second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. Mr. Jordan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item in your agenda, there's 4 professional service agreements under this category. So the first is the Midwest Continental Divide Planning Services Agreement, Second Amendment. We had signed an agreement with Community Redevelopment Partners late last year, September 2024. That contract went from September to September 1st or June 30th, 2025. Towards the end of June, we extended that contract through October. We're still working through details of the establishment of the Midwest Continental Divide Coalition and some of the other elements related to that. So what we'd like to do is continue this contract through the end of December 31st, 2025, so that we have the organization working. This is a zero change in the budget, so the existing funds we have in the budget will carry through the end of the year. And then we're working with City of South Bend and Community Redevelopment Partners, perhaps for a short-term carry contract for early next year until the coalition is established and funds from the state can be applied for management of the organization. So if that's the case, we may see a proposal in your December meeting or in your January packet. So again, would ask for your approval of this contract to extend their services through the end of the year.
Motion then.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, Mr. Folker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next 3 items are all related to 2026 service agreements. So the first is with TAI Ginsburg. We've been working with TAI Ginsburg for a number of years to help us with federal grants and some other federal related projects. To this date, they've helped us win $5.5 million in federal discretionary grants. We anticipate a couple of grants that we will apply for next year for projects. So we would anticipate that number to grow, but would ask for your approval for their professional services through 2020 or 2026, from January 1st through December 31st. Theirs is a not to exceed amount of $70,000 and billed at an hourly rate. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks for your time on all this stuff too, the other day. That's great.
Oh, no, no problem.
I'll motion that.
There's a motion. Is it second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, Mr. Folker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next contract would be with Sender and Dalton. Again, this is for professional services through 2026 from January 1st through December 31st. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer those.
How long have we been working with this company?
With Sender Dalton?
Yeah.
So when I started in fall of 2025, they were working with the Redevelopment Commission, or 2015. So at least through 2015, I don't believe, and Steve is on the line, I don't think there was a contract with Sender before 2015.
I think
So
that's
they've-
good. I think that's correct, Bill.
Okay.
And they do work for much of the county.
That is
not just
correct.
for our group.
Yeah. But I will tell you, their bills are itemized and Frank scrutinizes them very completely to make sure that we're paying for our services and within that contract amount. So
So is there a limit on this?
there is not, no. And some years I mean, we've seen higher numbers than others based on establishments of economic development areas, or the reformatting or selling of bonds or things like that. So I would say generally across the board, they've been reasonably consistent over the last several years, but we've been pretty active over the last several years too, so. I would also note, not only do they help us with the redevelopment commission activities, they also help us on the tax abatement side of things. So this year we haven't had any tax abatements other than tax abatement review. Other years we have 4 or 5. So again, that cost fluctuates based on the development happening with projects.
And they help us with filing with the state early in the year as well.
Exactly. So yeah, so like the spending plan we just did, that was prepared by their organization. They'll do the filing of that. When we do our annual reporting and all those things, those are prepared and also filed by them. So.
Is there a motion to approve the agreement with Senator Dalton?
So move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Folker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And last but not least, our legal services agreement. And while I am an attorney, they say that an attorney that represents himself is a fool. So it's probably good to get outside counsel for the redevelopment commission. So I would ask for your approval of their contract for their firm. And I would tell you from a rate standpoint, there's the family discount and then there's the really family discount. And so we appreciate the fee service that we get from their organization.
And I can't speak highly enough of Mr. Garrett and their firm and all the things they've done for us over the years. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Folker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
and Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under the New Carlisle Economic Development Area section for professional services, we have a proposal amendment number 1 with Larison Boulevard project. This is with Lockmuller Group. And basically what we're looking to do is just, we have a larger contract. We're not looking to add any additional funds to the contract. It's just moving money around within the existing budget to cover some additional services, additional work that's been done in different line items. This is more of an accounting approval that allows them to get their contracts in the correct order for their filing of fees and things like that. So ask for your approval of this contract, please.
Motion?
Then a second.
Aye. Or second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Folker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
and Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So the next section is resolutions and agreements in New Carlisle Economic Development Area. This first is the First Amendment to the Right of Entry Agreement with Ryan Companies U.S. Incorporated. Back in October 2024, the Ryan Companies, which is the general contracting firm responsible for building several of the buildings on the western part of the AWS SBN 100 campus, approached the commission to rent some of our property that we owned at the northwest corner of Early and Walnut. They turned that area into a parking lot and lay down yard for a lot of their services and the work that they're doing in that area. They had a rental payment contract with the redevelopment commission for $2,000 a month in exchange for this section of property. As they look to wind down their operations, they're looking to coordinate on the restoration of the property. So there's a couple of things going on here. First, we need to extend the lease an additional year. And then as part of the wind down activities, we're working with them to coordinate on re-landscaping the site and things like that. So in the packet is a copy of the landscape plan. So as part of the site, they'll remove the parking area, restore the parking area. But then also we had made a commitment as part of the GM rezoning and some other things that we're looking to do out in that area to do some tree planting along the Nespa-Johnny Ditch corridor. So again, in the packet, you can see the site plan. They're proposing as part of their work at their cost, they're going to plant 5,000 trees. Now, again, those are saplings. Those aren't full-size trees, but again, starting a tree planting process for us. So that'll be part of the restoration of the site. So it won't go back into a farmland state. It'll go into a green space status. That'll be part of a buffer area that was committed to in agreements between the town and others with the redevelopment commission, the board of commissioners. North of this is our well field that was expanded, part of the SJEC well field complex. So as we start this planting, this will lead into some other landscaping and coordination of this entire property between Edison and Early. We think this is a great show from the Ryan Company. They didn't have to do this additional landscaping work. This is something that they volunteered to do and will be doing. So we appreciate that. But again, so we'd ask for your approval to extend the lease for a year and coordinate as on closeout activities. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mr. Folker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
So the next item in your packet is a request for consideration to apply for a loan with the Northern Indiana Regional Development Authority. And kind of colloquially, we call the Northern Indiana Regional Development Authority the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership. The Regional Development Authority is actually kind of a subset of the work that that organization does. They have a loan program that they're in the process of putting together. They got money from the state in the amount of $30 million. So what we would look to do is look to apply to that organization for a loan that would not exceed $10 million. It would be a short-term loan to allow for the redevelopment commission / county to participate in the local match for the relocation of the Northern Indiana Commuter Transportation District's train line from the station at the east side of the airport to the west side of the airport. Over the last several years, we've been working on this relocation project. It has received state funding in the amount of $28 million. Locally, we would need to apply for and assemble $28 million, and then would apply for the remaining funds for the $112 million project. So that $56 million would be a request from the federal government. But before we can apply for grants, and a grant that could be applied for as early as January 7th, we need to assemble our local match funds. So the county has been asked to put in $10 million into the pot. This will be a pot that will consist of City of South Bend, the county, other partners, and NICTD. We're still working through the amounts for the other agencies, but we have a meeting this Friday to try to formalize some of those. So again, what we're asking for is your consideration to apply for a loan with the Northern Indiana Regional Development Authority. Their loan program will not officially be set up until next year. But they have a loan committee meeting in November of this month to consider grants that could come before the body once the body officially has a loan program established. I think I got that all out there. So what we would consider doing is either using the New Carlisle Economic Development Area funds or a larger funding package out of all of the TIF to cover this loan. Again, probably a 5-year loan, maybe extendable, depending on conditions and terms and things like that. But as we look at funding projects that have to be done in the west side of the county, the New Carlisle area in particular, funding of the interchange is number one, and we're going to talk about that, I think, next. Then funding of other improvements at 2 and Timothy, 2 and Tulip, US 20 at Tulip, and US 20 at Smilax. That'll be part of another funding package within that. And then this is really kind of the third major infrastructure project that has to happen on the west side of the county. After that, then we can start doing some local road projects and partnerships with the community on some other assets and need projects. But again, I would ask for your approval to apply for this loan or apply for consideration of applying for a loan. And then once we actually have terms and conditions and approval from the loan committee, we'd come back with a formal request. A loan from the Redevelopment Commission or even the Board of Commissioners has to go through a whole series of other approvals through the bodies, Board of Commissioners, and the council will have to approve the loan. But again, to get the process started, would ask for your approval today of this. If there's any questions, I will be happy to answer them.
And this is just to explore the opportunity of having a loan from them.
That's probably a more succinct way of saying what I just spent
Okay.
10 minutes saying. So yes, yes.
And just to confirm, the amount's no more than 10 million.
So we would cap our request at no more than 10 million.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triolo,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2517 is the request to transfer 3 properties from ownership of the Board of Commissioners to the Redevelopment Commission. Board of Commissioners is going to see a matching resolution to this at their 11 o'clock meeting today. Those 3 properties are listed in Exhibit A, but they're at 30233 Edison Road. This had been a single-family house that the Redevelopment Commission provided funding to the Board of Commissions to acquire several years ago. This sits basically on the north side of Edison Road. nearly in line with Snowberry Road. It was acquired for future right-of-way purposes. So it's been demolished and cleared. So we'd like to transfer that property, and then a piece of property at 494 East Michigan Street and one at 496 East Michigan Street. Those properties are related to the former trailer park in New Carlisle. So we'd like to move those from the Board of Commissioners to the Redevelopment Commission as we start to do pre-development activities on the trailer park site and everything. So if there's any questions about this resolution, again, this would be subject to then the Board of Commissioners approving this resolution later today. So any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. And Mr. Jordan.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-18. So this is a resolution between the Redevelopment Commission approving funding for construction of interchange at State Road 2 and Larison Boulevard. At one of your prior meetings, you approved a interlocal agreement between NDOT, the Board of Commissioners, and the Redevelopment Commission to provide funding and partnership on the interchange improvement project at 2 and Larison. That project has a commitment by the county of $12 million. Actually, it's a $19 million commitment with $7 million coming from AWS. We already have in our possession the $7 million from AWS. We're waiting to transfer that upon signed documents back from the state. So we have a $12 million obligation. That $12 million is split between in-kind expenses that we've already spent, donated right away, and then right away that has to be purchased. To do this, we've already established a budget for this project, established funds within the New Carlisle Economic Development Area Fund. Some of those funds could be part of the bond that we sold last year. Some are other cash on hand. Other money was money that came out of the GM bond. So we have cash on hand to complete our project. So what we were asking for is your approval to set up and authorize us to be able to use those funds to buy the properties necessary. There are 6 properties that have to be acquired. I believe there's a total of 17 properties in total for the project. Many of those properties are owned by either General Motors, the county, or AWS. So there's a lot of properties that will go into the pot as kind of in-kind donations, which lowers our actual cost into the project. But again, would ask for your approval of this funding resolution so that we can start to acquire property to move this project ahead. Just on a basic note, this project at this point, as we understand, in March of next year is when the project construction will formally kick off. They're doing a lot of stakeholder meetings and other meetings right now. The project will actually start construction in March. The southern half of the project, assuming all the right-of-way has been acquired, will start in earnest in July. It'll work through the summer and all of next year or all of the following year to be completed in total by November of 2027. If there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Bill,
Yes.
excuse me, most of the property is on State Road 2, right? Their residents and
Yeah, so there's properties, occupied properties on the northeast quadrant of State Road 2 in Larison. And then there's one parcel we'll have to acquire that was last year rezoned for commercial uses that's presently vacant, but could be commercially developed. That one's on the southeast quadrant of 2 in Larison. All the rest of the properties are either owned by AWS, GM, or the county. So yeah, so really mainly the properties in the northeast quadrant. At this point in time, one of the property owners that's in an owner-occupied situation has settled. So we need this resolution so that we can provide funds to close on that property. The adjacent 2 properties to the west are nearly complete as far as their acquisition. And so we're near in a position where we'd have the first 3 properties acquired, and then we just have to work our way on the last several, or the last 3 or 4, so.
Is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-18?
so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. And Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item in your packet is a request for funding for legal services. And I want to give a little background on about the request before making the request. In your packet is the filing documentation as well as the water service agreement between the town of New Carlisle and the Board of Commissioners and the county through the Redevelopment Commission. The water service agreement was signed on July 23rd, 2024. It established the service area that the town of New Carlisle would be providing water as it related to industrial or commercial or residential service in that area. It's a pretty broad area, but really relates to serviceability by the water treatment plant, the SJEC water treatment plant, and the existing plant adjacent to the Cleveland Cliffs facility. Water produced in those two plants could be served within the service area. And then in September of 2025, the county was put on notice that the town was filing a petition with the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission to gain an exclusive water service territory extending up to 4 miles from the town limits. This is very similar to what Mishawaka filed earlier this year to provide exclusive service territory in the areas adjacent to the city of Mishawaka. And so because the town has filed this petition, the water service agreement that we have, there's some questions if we need to have some type of formal intervening into the IURC process to get the terms and conditions in that agreement formalized so that we don't lose any of the guarantees that we had in the water service agreement, so to carry forward. So what we're asking for is legal service, funding for legal services to file, if it's determined we need to file with the IURC, to be able to file with the IURC an intervening petition. We're also asking, and this will relate to petition later, or item later, also asking for the appropriate funding if it's determined that the St. Joseph County Regional Water and Sewer District also needs to intervene as a partner, that we would cover those additional costs that body may incur as part of this. Again, we believe that this is a friendly process. This is, again, just making sure that everybody's rights are maintained and established throughout the process, but would just ask for your approval for legal services. Mr. Garrett will be coordinating legal services if it's determined we need those, be coordinating those with the Regional Water Sewer District's attorney. So any questions, Phil or I'd be happy to answer.
Can you refresh, Bill, how much have we spent to help supply water to this area? I mean, it's been a lot of money.
Well, by way of big history, so to speak, so when IonTech originally came in, there was a partnership between the county, the company, the city of South Bend, and the town of New Carlisle. So the water treatment plant that was originally built adjacent to Cleveland Cliffs was built using TIF funds and then transferred to the town of New Carlisle to manage once that was constructed. The plant was then expanded when Cliffs came in a couple years later. So there were funds expended there. And I don't know that I know the cost of that plant. So then as we fast forward to the GM AWS days, between plant expansion, new wells, water tower, water lines going into the network, I think we're, conservatively at 50 million, but probably upwards of that. We'd certainly get you a full accounting of all the money that went in, but additional 50 million within the last 2 years that's gone in. Now, I would say that those are monies that came out of the GM bond or AWS direct paid. So they're paid by the businesses, not by the county, but the county is a pass through. But certainly have made major investments in those facilities. And we anticipate, based on the current management structure of the town's water system, that those are good investments that will be well maintained going into the future. And again, the thought with those improvements wasn't just dealing with the projects that we have today, but created this larger service area to create a water network that could expand. So whether it's data center number 3 or other projects along US 20 or State Road 2, in those corridors, we'd have enough water in that area, even with the cap of limit that we put on the water plant to be able to service projects in that area.
And currently, employees of New Carlisle are manning those facilities.
That is correct, yes. And the town has full management and authority of the water facilities, much like the sewer service facilities are managed by the city of South Bend. So the county builds them as part of our agreements, then turns them over once complete.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Polker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. Mr. Thorpe.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So the next item in your packet is really kind of the start of a whole series of conversation as it relates to future development in the Capitol Avenue corridor. Earlier, I had mentioned that we had an IURC action with City of Mishawaka. That is in the process of being resolved. There was a stipulation settlement agreement signed by the Board of Commissioners on behalf of the county. That same document was signed by the St. Joe County Regional Water and Sewer District and City of Mishawaka. That's been filed with IURC. That settlement and the stipulation settlement agreement is in your packet. Basically, the long and short of what that does is it allows Mishawaka to create an exclusive service territory for both water and sewer in a 5-mile radius from Grass Road on the south and the township line, the southern township line of Penn Township, all the way around to the county line on the east and then to the state line on the north, going all the way west to Hickory Road. So a pretty good swath of land that water and sewer can be exclusively serviced in that area. However, north of the toll road, there's sewer service areas that were established and will continue with Regional Water and Sewer District. So there's an area that they've already established as a regional water and sewer service territory for sewer only. And then west of that, from pretty much, I would say from Fur Road west to Hickory is an area that has joint serviceability. So Regional Water Sewer District could service it, City of Mishawaka could service it for sewer, or if there's a need for another agency like South Bend to provide service, if there's sewer service closer, the Regional Water Sewer District could act as a facilitator to get service to those areas. So kind of a overarching plan for water and sewer, really from the Granger area to the toll road south to the river, and then really a plan for potentially for Osceola and all the way for southern, kind of the southern Mishawaka area for water and sewer. It's as we talked through this project, it was probably a 40-year conversation that was done in 40 days. And at the end of the day, it really accomplished a lot. And we've got a good roadmap for moving forward with water and sewer in eastern St. Joe County. So that's the stipulation and settlement agreement. So that's what that covers. But beyond that, we needed what we have in the packet, or what we don't have in the packet, but what we want to talk about is the memorandum of understanding. So the memorandum of understanding actually is a document that sits on top of that. Again, it will be signed by the Regional Water Sewer District, City of Mishawaka, the Board of Commissioners, and the Redevelopment Commission. That document contains 5 sections, and the first section is that really outlines the water and sewer service of the City of Mishawaka in those areas and establishes where those areas will exist. Then it allows on top of that for the county to create and facilitate the management of economic development areas. So economic development areas that will establish TIF allocation areas within those EDAs to collect revenue to pay for specified projects. And those specified projects are the ones that will extend utilities to those areas. Section 2 then are the specified projects that will be allowed to exist within that EDA, the first EDA that we'll create, and that'll be an expansion of the AM General Economic Development Area, known to be renamed the Capitol Avenue Economic Development Area. So within the plan, and we'll talk about the plan here is the next item, item. The plan will contain 5 items that we can use any TIF increment in that area that's generated for projects. First project is the Douglas Road Canadian National Rail Overpass Project. We've been working over the last couple of years to buy properties in the Douglas Road corridor. There are some things that may accelerate that project, so that's kind of the first on the list. Second on the list are water infrastructure improvements within the service area, the sewer infrastructure improvements, regular infrastructure improvements. So roads, fiber, drainage projects. If we have drainage issues in that area, we can use TIF increment to cover those. And then last is trail and open space improvements. So we really tried to limit what the increment can be used for. We know that we're going to have to create a lot of increment to cover the water and sewer projects in particular, but also the road projects. So we really tried to tailor this new EDA or expanded EDA to those 5 buckets of projects. The section 3 of the MOU, the city has a desire to annex property east, generally south of the toll road, and that'll be the focus area. But as it looks to grow its boundaries over the time, it may go south of the existing city limits of Mishawaka. It may want to go east in the area between the river and the toll road. So the county and its partners have said we can work through this with annexation, and we will certainly be willing to do that. And I guess kind of related to that then is section 5. In the event an area is annexed and the city then picks up area, any revenue that the city collects in that area that's also within one of the TIF districts or within an economic development area, the city would pledge back those funds so that we could cover existing debt projects or future water and sewer projects. So we wouldn't stifle the city's growth, but would work together to, again, meet those 5 development criteria within the plan. And then section 4 is probably one of the more important pieces of all this. The city will make available sewer capacity at kind of a bulk sewer rate to the regional water sewer district to support sewer development in Granger. And that sewer capacity is capped at 500,000 gallons per day. So the existing sewer service area right now collects sewer services, takes the sewer services up to Michigan, and then sends them over to Elkhart County or Elkhart City for cleaning. This could eliminate that awkward path of getting sewer work done, or it could continue that, but allow for an additional 500,000 gallons of sewer service collection in that area. So again, when we talk about long-term solutions in this area, that additional 500,000 gallons of capacity is a huge piece of that. Right now, the Regional Water Sewer District is probably using 1/3 to half of that capacity. So to be able to pick up a huge bulk commitment to this area is huge. I would caution that sewer service can't be utilized until we get sewer pipe up to that. So there's a lot of work that has to be done to get sewer to that area to make that happen. But as far as the commitment to do that, we've got a plan. We've got early engineering designs for how that all works. We've got some budgets, and so I think we're on a good path for that. But I guess I would say the work we did with all the partnerships through this IURC action with the city of Mishawaka have resulted in some very good things. This being the first of that. While there is not the MOU in your packet, we're still working on some of the language of this. What we'd ask for is your approval subject to a final document being put together. We don't believe there's going to be any substantial changes beyond these 5 points. If there are, we would bring it back to your December meeting for a review, a revote, or a ratification if nothing else. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Hey, Bill, does the city of Mishawaka have the capacity to do all this additional?
So they have the capacity in their plant. They don't have the capacity in the sewer network yet. So there's going to have to be a section of sewer built along Merrifield Park. So along Indiana Avenue that will connect this ultimate sewer network into the existing pipe network. We're going to have to upgrade a lift station at Daisy Road, which is between Jefferson and McKinley, just east of Capitol Avenue. And then the sewer pipe that's built will be built with a capacity sizing to be able to handle not only this Granger Water and Sewer District area, but a large area from the toll road south to the river. So there is capacity in the plant. We just got to get to the plant.
And one last question. So the trail and open space improvements, is that only in this district?
So, yeah, so we would look within this new development area that those projects would happen within that area. And really the goal is to connect the city of Mishawaka's network, what kind of exists along Capitol Avenue, then back up to the Mishawaka's network, and then ultimately to the Granger sewer or Granger Pass network area. So it really would be just confined to either filling in pieces. So for example, as we look at the Douglas Road project, there would be trail built from Capitol and Douglas west to Veterans Parkway to build that piece, for example. That would be one of those missing teeth. We may be able to use some of this TIF increment to do from the bridge, Capitol, or the St. Joe River Bridge north on the west side to Jefferson, where there's a missing gap, to fill in a whole section there. There's a piece on McKinley from Capitol back to about Current that needs to be built. So there's some little pieces, but then there's some much larger pieces. How do you get from the sports complex area at Cleveland and Douglas over to the new Anderson Road Park and some of the subdivisions, or up to Granger? So there's some larger pieces. Of the 5 priorities, I would tell you that's the 5th priority. I mean, but it's certainly, we wanted to identify that because as we did trail pieces or opportunities presented themselves, we wanted to be able to be in position to either match a grant or do a segment as it was presented. So we didn't want to lose sight of that because we felt the open space piece was pretty important. But again, it's going to be very focused projects. It's not building brand new parks. It's not building bigger elements. It's very focused elements within that footprint.
Bill, just out of curiosity, with these 5 phases or 5 projects, I mean, what's timeline wise? I know there's probably not one established, but do you kind of have an idea of how long this is going to take?
Yeah, so if we looked at water and sewer and infrastructure, as we continue to have conversations with Microsoft, these projects 2, 3, and 4 that really will be facilitated as the pieces after work is done for Microsoft. So an initial network will have to be built. Those will be much like AWS's where will be paid for by Microsoft. And then these will be the build-on pieces to that. So some of these may not actually start for 2 or 3 years, but then be, depending on how much increment is collected, could go very fast or it could take a number of years to build out. So.
Is there a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding presented to us?
So move.
Second.
You have a motion and a second, Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So resolution 2025-15 is the declaratory resolution for the establishment or for the expansion of the AM General Economic Development Area. And so this one is going to take, I got to find it first. Is going to take a little bit of walking through. So you have the full declaratory resolution in your packet. So again, we start with the resolution. And so what we're looking to do, the AM General Economic Development Area was established back when the H2 plant was being contemplated back in 2000, 2001, 2002. That project area was established largely between McKinley and Jefferson. There's a map in the packet that shows the original development area, also included funding for Capitol Avenue improvements, but largely improvements were made for infrastructure, roadway improvements on McKinley, on Bittersweet, connectivity pieces with new Capitol Avenue. Back there was a time where Capitol Avenue didn't go all the way through to the bypass. So a lot of work was done in that area to do that. To do that, the county sold a bond. It was a 20-year bond. The bond was paid off a couple of years ago. So we're still kind of on the tail end of the existence of the AM General Economic Development Area. What we'd like to do is take the AM General Economic Development Area and reduce it by its part, take some of the properties out that now actually exist within the city of Mishawaka, remove those and focus it so that the Capitol Avenue, that this new development area or expanded development area really focuses along the western edge for the most part of Capitol Avenue. So we would reduce the area, take some of the area out. And so the area that today is collecting increment would be the new, what we'd call new allocation area number 1. That area would expire here in the next couple of years. Once the original economic development area expires, so that allocation area is kind of a short-term area, but it largely contains the existing AM General plant, the H2 plant, a lot of the businesses along McKinley. So some of the new development we've done, the new pickleball facility, the new Culvers, there's a new, some other new businesses that have happened in that corridor. Those are generally the facilities and the properties paying increment into that area. Also some business expansion that's happened down in the Mishawaka Twin Branch Industrial Park down along Jefferson. So that would be the reduced AM general area or new allocation area number 1. Allocation area number 2, and there's all these maps are in the packet. Allocation area number 2 would go up Capitol Avenue and include the Douglas Road corridor where we're looking to acquire properties or have acquired properties, and then would extend up to the toll road and then follow the tracks up to I-80/90. So that creates kind of a allocation area number 2, kind of again following along with that project. Area 3 then is kind of a reduced, again, another reduction of the AM general area, but follows along the Bittersweet corridor. So it really starts at Fillmore Road and then goes all the way up to Day Road, and then some areas around and adjacent to and including the property that the Redevelopment Commission owns that sits next to the H2 plant. So right now, the parking lot doesn't pay any property taxes. At some point, we anticipate a new user in the H2 facility. So when that parking lot starts paying taxes, that tax increment would be collected within the TIF area. We may consider a future resolution that would move the H2 plant, depending on improvements done at the H2 plant, move it from allocation area 1 to allocation area number 3 to collect the longer life on that area. Allocation area number 4 is largely the area north of the toll road that includes the Hills subdivision, the Hills at St. Joe Farms. That would be an area that we may parcel off at some point as a residential TIF district because there's some projects up in that area related to water infrastructure that need to be done. And then area number 5 is what we would really call the Microsoft or the larger service area. This is an area that really is established around the Microsoft site, extends from Day Road to the toll road, goes all the way east to Beach in places. This is an area where we'll see the largest amount of increment generated, and this will be the area that will drive all of those 5 projects as increment is pulled off of these areas. Exhibit G in the packet is a list of all the parcels that are being removed out of the AM General Economic Development Area. And there's a map related to that. There's a plan amendment in the packet. And then lastly, there's a list of all the properties being added to the acquisition list. Those acquisition parcels are largely within that allocation area number 5 and allocation area number 2. And then there's there's one parcel actually 2 parcels that extend north of the toll road that include the water plant and the drive property in the Hills at St. Joe Farm site. So it's what we would call the Granger water parcel. But those are all the properties that are contained on the acquisition list. This is the first step in a long series of steps to establish this new Capitol Avenue economic development area. The declaratory resolution process starts here. If approved by you, it goes to the Area Plan Commission for approval of the resolution that's here before you today. Then it goes on to the council and then back to the redevelopment commission in January for a public hearing. And then it will go on to the board of commissioners and then the council for final approval. So we would ask for your approval today to start this process. I would note that as part of the stipulation and settlement agreement, the boundary of the Capitol Avenue Economic Development Area was contained within that packet because that was an exhibit that showed this is the first area, first economic development area that would be established as part of the water and sewer project management and all of that. So this is something that the city of Mishawaka is aware of is happening. We're actually on a call with them earlier today, so they knew that this step was happening. So if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Also, I would note that Tom Everett with Barnes and Thornburg is here to answer any questions about the declaratory resolution, but then also Tom will largely cover the items in the next resolution.
I believe just like we talked about on that area number 5, with the services going that direction, sewer and water, they could extend beyond that in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. So what we really tried to do was the map, the kind of the area that was created really follows the serviceability of the water and sewer lines as proposed in kind of the second phase of development. So as we look at water, the water largely will be centered around the Microsoft site, but to get north of the toll road, get farther east, or to even go south, we're going to have to install additional piping and a water tower in that area. So that would be a cost that would be part of that water component. Sewer, much the same way, as we extend sewer north into the area north up into this allocation area number 5, the sewer would have a limited ability of serviceability, knowing that you're going to give 500,000 gallons away at the top end, but also we could only go so far east. Now, depending on the type of users that locate in that area, if they're not heavy water users or things like that, we could push sewer service farther east, south of the toll road or things like that. So we really tried to limit the area, but again, that doesn't mean that long-term utilities couldn't be serviced outside of this area as other projects came, so.
Is there a public hearing on this today?
There's not a public hearing.
Is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-15?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So resolution 2025-16 is a resolution of the redevelopment commission authorize the issuance of a bond for a special redevelopment district special taxing district bond in 2025. This bond, again, this is kind of the first step of a series of steps in the process. This would be a bond that would be serviced through the TIF generated in this area existing and also in the future. We're looking to kind of sell just based on the revenue available, a smaller bond. I think we looked between $3 and $4 million for this bond. We have some immediate cost with professional services and some other things related to Microsoft, some other things related to Douglas Road. So this would be a small bond that we'd look to sell, probably based on the steps that have to be done, wouldn't be sold until after the first of the year. But we need to get the steps in place to be able to manage that process. If there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
And Bill, the money's coming from the AM General.
So it would largely come from the existing AM General Economic Development area that exists today. And then as other projects happen within that area, within the 5 allocation areas, that money could be used to pay on the bond.
Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2025-16?
So move.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. Mr. Jordan.
Yes.
Motion.
The next item on your agenda is Resolution 2025-19. It's a resolution of the St. Joe County Redevelopment Commission regarding funds for property purchase at 320 Lincoln Way East in Osceola. The reason we're asking to move forward with acquiring this property at this time is for 2 reasons. Number one, staff became aware that this parcel, which is the former Valley American Bank building, at that corner was listed for sale by a commercial real estate agent. The second reason why we're moving forward with this at this time is because we are anticipating a future road and railroad crossing improvement at the North Fork Southern Railroad Crossing at that intersection. The county is working with MACOG on a grant proposal for a railroad crossing elimination project at that location. The price to acquire is the average of two appraisals. The average of the two appraisals was $604,000. Staff requests approval of resolution 202518. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
One thing I'd like to add to Terry's presentation, if we were, and the next item on is an environmental investigation. That's going to be done first, and Terry will explain that before we continue with an acquisition. If we were to acquire, there would be language added to the deed and into the purchase agreement that limits the ability to do gas station or concession uses on this site. However, that is only restricted to private users doing that, wouldn't restrict the county park if this property was incorporated into the county park from being able to do those uses, either putting in their own fueling center or a pro shop or something for the Frisbee golf that also had concessions. So that isn't a limit to us, but that to a private user.
Is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-19?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
And Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the next item on your agenda is a professional service proposal for engineering services from Christopher B. Burke Engineering LLC. The proposal is the property that you just approved for redevelopment funds to purchase. This is a commercial / office building that is being acquired, as I said earlier, for potential railroad overpass. The proposal to do the engineering services is $18,905. Staff requests approval of this request. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Is there a motion to approve? Is
So move.
there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
And Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The last professional service agreement is a reimbursement agreement with the St. Joseph County Regional Water and Sewer District. As we talked about earlier, we entered into a intervening action against City of Mishawaka for their IURC filing. As part of that, our partner, the St. Joseph County Regional Water and Sewer District, also intervened in the matter. What we're asking for today is coverage of their fees through that intervening process. We have had conversations with their partners, looking at what those bills would be. What we'd like to do, we're still waiting on October bills and any bills that may bleed into November as we go through the MOU and finalizing the stipulation documents and everything. So we'd ask for a cap of a not to exceed of $90,000. I don't believe we're going to get to that point, but in the event that we do, we just want to at least have some flexibility in coverage. This would be part of the larger legal request. Earlier, we asked for approval for both private counsel and then regional water sewer district bills as it related to New Carlisle. This is probably how we should have handled it when we did the Mishawaka thing the first time, but didn't fully comprehend that we needed to do both. So just asking for your approval of reimbursement of their fees through the process. They're a partner, have been a good partner through this process and would ask for your consideration.
And they do not have the capacity to assist.
So their
portion of
fees,
the fee.
the fees that they generate are strictly user rate fees. And so the fees that they use are really used to cover the expenses that they have, legal expenses related to the establishment of their areas or to cover any things that come up along the way. So this was really an unforeseen cost and an unforeseen expense that they do not have the fees to cover.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
And Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carried.
So we covered a lot of exciting things on this agenda, covered a lot of ground, but I think this is one that I think is probably my favorite to the whole packet. On the agenda today is kind of the next piece of broadband expansion. We've been working over the last couple of years on expanding broadband services into some of the underserved areas. This was really a focus when Commissioner Hazen came to office to really push to get fiber projects completed in the southwest part of the county. This is the third project we've done in this area over the last actually fourth project. We did a fiber project along 331 to connect from kind of the southern limits of the Choice Light Network to the Woodland Highway Garage. We did a project where we extended conduit only from North Liberty to Potato Creek State Park, and then came back and extended conduit the rest of the way to Lakeville, connecting into the existing Choice Light Network along Old 31, and then pulled fiber through that whole corridor. So we got fiber to North Liberty and then extended fiber through North Liberty down to the Highway Garage south along State Road 23. This would take fiber then from State Road 23, take it through Walkerton, and take it to kind of the southern limits of Walkerton. This is a major project, again, building fiber network out in this area. The last fiber project that will probably bring you early next year will be to take fiber from North Liberty to somewhere around the casino along the 23 corridor so that we can build a full redundant loop in this area. This project and kind of the last couple of projects have become even more important. We've been working with some of the partners that do broadband connectivity to the home. There was a recent announcement from the federal government of BEAD funding. BEAD funding is really a program at the federal level to take broadband into areas that don't have service. There was a major award to 5 different vendors to provide service in St. Joe County, and we'll provide you some information on that. But largely, Surf Internet, which is one of the 5 funding recipients, uses Choice Light in their backbone to provide service to the home. So the more we do of these spine or network build outs, opens up opportunities to get service to the rural areas that just don't have service at all or very limited service. So these projects are a huge opportunity. Just remind the board that we're using funds from Project Honeysuckle. These were payments that came to us out of Project Honeysuckle. We received $3 million as kind of a pilot light that they paid for. So again, a way that we use these economic development projects in other part of the county, putting the money into the general redevelopment fund to be able to do projects that we would not have funding to do anywhere else. So this project proposal before you from Choice Light is in the amount of $956,820. We would ask for your approval of this contract. Again, we have cash on hand to be able to cover this. This will be a huge win for North Liberty, Walkerton area, and we just would ask for your consideration.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So we move to our public comment portion of the meeting. If anyone in attendance would like to speak, please approach the podium, give us your name, address, and you're limited to 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commission. Dan Caruso, New Carlisle. Thank you for your voluntary participation in this. I appreciate your oversight and that you're looking after us. I would like to, I have several things I want to speak on. The first being, I enjoy what what I appreciate what the Board of Commissioners did by allowing comment during the meeting where we would sign up to say, speak about something on the agenda. And Shelley or whoever over there would say, Dan wants to speak on this. And before you guys vote, yeah, there's some minds up there, but maybe occasionally there's something that I'm thinking of that you're not thinking of that I think would be helpful for you to hear before you voted. And I wish we could go to that kind of a format here. Second, if you haven't been on State Road 2, I have friends who have a blue chip addiction who would go across county or state Route 6 over to 421 and up to the Blue Chip. I tell them, well, there's a Four Winds right there off of State Road. They're addicted to the Blue Chip. And they asked me, what's it like driving across 2? And I said, you could sleep going over there now. You can put it on cruise control and if the car could stay straight, there's nothing. As was evidenced, I think that's proven by item 3, which I would have spoken on if given the opportunity, of the right of entry of Ryan for their employee parking lots west of Walnut, north of Early. Those things are starting to empty out quickly. The work on the north side, SBN 100, is almost completed. There's 2 buildings over on Larison between Fillmore and Edison, which are the final 2 they're working on. Those construction crews are gone. Relatively little traffic there now with whatever's going on at GM. Very little traffic at any time. I came over drinking a cup of coffee, kind of half reading a newspaper this morning because I didn't have any traffic to concern myself with. And I make a point of going through there at different times of the day. It is like that so much of the time now. My point is, I don't think we need this diamond ring interchange. I think we've got plenty of capability there now to, as we had for the 20-some years, I drove daily from Rolling Prairie or New Carlisle, whichever one of the houses I was in, to Mishawaka every day with no problems. And now we're getting, it was like that again today. And I encourage you to drive over there. But I believe the state, Governor Braun, if you're listening, the state can save that $31 million, spend it elsewhere. Amazon, that $7 million, the county. Thank you. We don't need the diamond.
Good morning, Derek Dieter, 1740 Portage Avenue. Today, when Bill had you guys approve a second amendment for the trails, did you guys previously approve a first amendment?
Yes.
Okay, did you know what that entailed?
At the time, yes. I don't recall it.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you followed this, but the dates seem to be getting pushed back and so on and so forth. And during the process, 'cause I don't know exactly what y'all do to that extent. When you approve something like that, do you then look at the invoices that come in to see if it was spent the way it was supposed to?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, no?
They're reviewed.
Pardon me?
They're reviewed.
Okay. Do you know during the process was MKSK paid? Or what their role is? Okay, were they paid by, it goes straight to MKSK or to another entity?
I would say, Mr. D, this is public comment, not question and answer.
Okay, so you don't want to, if I would give it, write it and send it to you, will I get an answer?
You can submit whatever you'd like. I'm not the commission, so I can't tell you whether or not there will be an answer.
Okay, well, I'll try that route. Thanks.
Morning, Don Smessert. I'm speaking for the Sewer and Water District. I'm president of that district. I would like to express the district's deep appreciation for the support of this body through our wrestling match with the city of Mishawaka. I'd like to say thank you.
Good morning, George Lepiniotis, attorney for the district, offices at 4101 Edison Lakes Parkway, Mishawaka. Also want to thank you, also want to thank Bill and Phil for the work they've done. When Bill said earlier today that 40 years of work had been done in 40 days, at least in that regard as it comes to the northeastern area of St. Joseph County and its future water and sewer needs, which if any of you have been following that, could really become a more pressing issue as water quality studies are conducted in that area. The work that the team did to include the city of Mishawaka has positioned the county well for the future. We understand it was a large commitment of finances. However, it will reap benefit, and I think that the MOU that you approved as well will have long-lasting positive impact for the county. So again, echoing Don's appreciation of your support. You did ask a question earlier about our own finances, and we do not build in development contingencies into our budgets, only operational contingencies. As this dispute largely resolved around or centered on development activity, there really weren't funds for that. And had you not stepped in to support the district financially, the outcome could have been very, very different. So thank you.
Seeing no one in attendance coming to the podium, is there anyone online who'd like to speak? Apparently, Mr. Francis.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity. I wish we had more opportunity during the meeting before you make decisions. I was disappointed not to have a hearing on the declaratory resolution, which was not posted online for the public. Initially, it wasn't there a couple days ago. I didn't see the MOU, and you didn't even see the MOU, and you approved it. I think that there really needs to be some accounting going on in terms of the economic development director being open to the public. And don't want to miss the opportunity to say that he needs to make a public apology to the council for misrepresenting at the last council meeting that the third data center property that's up for rezoning vote is within the IEC, which is a statement that he made at the council meeting. It's an erroneous statement, needs to be corrected. Now, I want to turn my attention to the east side because the east side is now being developed just as the west side was, and the destruction that's occurred out there under your and previous boards, commission's tutelage is astounding. A third data center is being proposed. It's outside the IEC, outside the core development area. The same will happen on the east side. We had a group of more than hundreds of Granger residents who are against the Microsoft project, and I see that the EDA is now being extended up the north, taking monies out of the general fund, granting them to you. Hundreds of millions of dollars are under your purview, and you didn't ask one question, one meaningful question today about it. I realize the MOU has been negotiated, but it has to go through several hoops in terms of establishing the TIF and the EDA. The council is concerned about revenues for the general fund. You're taking those out of circulation by devoting those to the TIF. And that will be fought by the people of Granger and the people out on the east side who do not want the same kinds of development that have occurred on the west side happening in our area. Furthermore, I think there's some conflicts of interest with the attorneys that you've hired. The firm that you've hired advises both the commissioners, the area the area plan commission, and your board. These are supposed to be independent boards, and I would encourage you to avoid either the potential or apparent or real conflicts of interest that may occur as a result of hiring attorneys that work for the same firm for all these county independent commissions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online who'd like to speak? Hearing from no one else, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Volker,
Aye.
Mr. Triola,
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Aye. And Mr. Jordan.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Yeah.